Welcome on the pure wisdom, chosen one's faith and terror. Both need you to trust in something unseen. So, why give dread the satisfaction? This is a fact. According to studies, 85% of people's worries are unfounded. Nonetheless, fear continues to keep more people prisoner than any jail on earth. Meanwhile, religion, possibly the most powerful force in existence, waits silently, waiting for someone brave enough to embrace it. That person was you. While the rest of the world worried, you remained calm while others took precautions. You marched in, armed only with conviction. Someone prominent has taken notice. Not just anybody. Someone has the ability to repay you in ways you never expected. This isn't luck. This isn't a coincidence. This is when all of the quiet sacrifices, late-night prayers, and unseen conflicts begin to make sense. So, buckle up, because when trust triumphs, the prize is not simply wonderful, but heavenly. Number 1. Faith was your currency, and now it is delivering rewards. Faith is more than simply belief. It is an investment. And like any high-stakes investment, it carries danger. When you chose faith over fear, you were not only hoping for the best. You were risking everything by wagering on something you couldn't see, touch, or promise. You stepped away from safety, disregarded reasoning, and refused to allow fear determine your future steps. That was not blind optimism. That was strategy. Most individuals hang on to fear because it makes them feel protected. It provides them a false feeling of control, allowing them to plan for the worst. But you understood something that others didn't. Fear is costly. It deprives individuals of possibilities, paralyzes potential, and traps them in circumstances they were never intended to be in. You refused to pay the price. Instead, you chose faith, even if it meant sacrificing comfort, connections, and certainties. And now the choice is paying off. The issue with faith is that it does not provide quick results. It is not a rapid payoff. It's a long-term commitment that requires perseverance. When nothing appeared to be changing, you persisted in your belief. When everything pointed to failure, you kept going. The earth underneath you felt unsteady. That kind of perseverance is not overlooked. Others waited for evidence before acting, but you acted before there was proof. That is why the award you get is not random. It's earned when someone prominent notices what you accomplished. Not only the outcomes, but also the process. They watched how you remained steadfast in the face of dread and every reason to give up. They saw how you selected faith as your currency and refused to exchange it for uncertainty. That level of confidence is unusual. It is valuable, and it is now being acknowledged. The payment isn't merely arriving. It is overdue. And when it comes, it will not just meet your expectations. It will surpass them, because trust enhances your investment rather than just returning it. Second, fear is a lie. You did not just reject it. You started it. Fear is loud. It demands attention, lives on uncertainty, and feeds on hesitancy. It does not need evidence to immobilize you. It just requires a footing in your thoughts. Most people succumb to dread because it is so persuasive. It disguises itself as knowledge and calls itself prudence. It claims to be protective while it is really a jail. But you saw through the lie, and you not only rejected fear, but you also starved it. And everything that is not nourished will ultimately perish. Fear exists only when it is allowed room to flourish. The more you entertain it, the stronger it becomes. It begins more as a whisper of skepticism. However, if you allow it to remain, it becomes a commanding power. That's why so many people are trapped. They give fear just enough power to control their decisions, keeping them stuck in a loop of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. But you broke the cycle. You removed fear's most powerful weapon, your attention, and gave it nothing to hang on to. Instead of feeding your anxieties, you nurtured your faith. And that's why you're here now, on the verge of something spectacular, having been seen by someone significant, because your power is unmistakable. People value brilliance, but they prioritize boldness. They search for people who not only preach about bravery, but really demonstrate it. When people come across someone who refuses to be ruled by fear, they pay note, not because they never experience fear, but because they wish they had the same fortitude to resist it as you did. Your decision to live in faith changed more than just your personal life. It established a standard. It demonstrated what is possible when fear is denied entrance. Such an attitude is quite unusual. Things always have worth. The recognition is coming, and the opportunity is developing. And it is not because you have never experienced terror. It's because when fear knocked, you refused to respond. Number 3, the fire was not a test. It was a refinement process. Most individuals regard difficulties as challenges to overcome. They think that if they persevere long enough, they will die and life will return to normal. But you realize something deeper. What you went through was not a test. It was a refinement process. It wasn't simply about observing how you handled pressure. It was about converting you into someone who would not be broken by it. Fire does not merely test gold. It cleanses it. It burns away the impurities, leaving just what is genuine and important. This is precisely what happened to you. The difficulties did not come to test your resolve. They came to eliminate everything that was not destined to be a part of your future. Fear, doubt, insecurity, and diversions. They all had to go. The fire burned away the pieces of you that couldn't take what came next. You're left with something rare, unwavering faith, unbreakable resilience, an incontrovertible confirmation that you're prepared. That is why someone prominent recognized you, not because you were able to overcome adversity, but because of how you recovered. They noticed the clarity in your vision, the confidence in your steps, and the depth in your personality. That is not something that can be faked or expedited. It is something only fire can make. People that comprehend greatness know what they are looking for. They do not look for persons who had an easy route. They look for folks who have been shaped by their travels. Your prize isn't coming since you just got through the flames. It's coming because the fire turned you into a person capable of dealing with whatever comes next. You are not the same person you were when you entered the conflict. You were smarter, stronger, and wiser. The fire did not destroy you. It exposed you. And now the world is going to discover what it implies. Number 4, you were being watched. Long before you realized it, you assumed no one witnessed the struggle. You believed the sacrifices, late hours, and silent conflicts were just between you and God. However, someone was watching. Not just anyone, an influential person who knows what true strength looks like. They were not interested in the noisy, attention-seeking kind of achievement. They were searching for something deeper: endurance, resilience, and steadfast conviction. And you have it. The world praises the final result, but few comprehend the process. Those handful are the ones who matter. They're the ones who identify true excellence because they have gone through the fire themselves. They were paying attention even while you weren't aware of it. They witnessed how you persevered when quitting would have been easier. They watched how you maintained faith when skepticism was the more reasonable option. They saw how you turned up when no one was cheering for you. Most individuals believe that in order to get noticed, they must perform. But you were not performing. You were just being who you were, committed, relentless, and loyal. That's what caught their interest, not because you were seeking for it, but because true conviction cannot be overlooked. Now the recognition is coming, not from the places you anticipated, nor from the individuals you assumed would pay attention, but from those who genuinely matter. The ones with the ability to open doors, generate opportunities, and reward what they know is uncommon. And this is hardly a fortuitous break. It is a divine appointment. The fortitude you shown when you thought no one was watching was really an audition for a stage you had no idea existed. And now the stage is set. Number 5. You did not just walk through the storm. You got back to you. Most people wait for the storm to pass. They pray for the rain to stop, the winds to settle, and the mayhem to cease. But you passed past it without hesitation. You did not ask for compassion. You moved with power. And that's what distinguishes you. Storms affect everyone, but not in the same manner. Some individuals crumple under pressure, letting hardship determine their actions. Others hide, hoping for things to improve. But you understood something that others didn't. Storms don't stay forever, and they can't control you. Instead of retreating back, you move forward. In doing so, you deprive the storm of its strength. That kind of perseverance is not overlooked. People are attracted to people who can withstand pressure. It's not just about strength. It's about being present. It's about how you handled yourself when everything around you fell apart. You didn't just survive. You've established a new benchmark. Those watching took notice. Someone prominent is attracted to you right now because they see something other people don't. Storms expose leaders. They distinguish those who buckle under pressure from those who rise beyond it. And when they saw you, they recognized someone who did not wait for ideal circumstances to go ahead. Doors are now opening because you faced adversity front on and emerged stronger. Make no mistake, this is not merely a prize. It confirms that you were never just suffering the storm. You were mastering it. Number 6, obedience made you unshakable, which is unique. Most individuals buckle under pressure. When things become difficult, people make compromises. When the path becomes lonely, people seek shortcuts. When obedience no longer makes sense, people forsake it. But you didn't. You held the line when no one else did. That's why you're different. Obedience is not simple. It doesn't always provide immediate benefits or evident rewards. Sometimes it costs more than you think you can afford. It might sometimes make you feel alone. However, genuine obedience is not about convenience. It's all about dedication. And you demonstrated repeatedly that you would not sacrifice your ideals, no matter what the cost. That type of commitment is invaluable, not just to God, but also to people who understand what true honesty looks like. People with authority who can open doors and are looking for trustworthy people. They've been watching, and what they saw in you is not something they see frequently. Someone who perseveres even when there is no acclaim and no certainty of reward. Most people believe that success comes from skill or connections. But the greatest levels of success are reserved for individuals who can be trusted with responsibility. Trust is not created in easy times. It's based on struggle. It is developed when you continue to do the right thing, even when it is simpler to do something else. That is the kind of personality that people want when investing in someone. Your loyalty is going to be rewarded, not merely because you persisted, but also because you never wavered, proving again and again that you would not sell out, compromise, or crumble under pressure. And it is the rarest of all. Number 7, your sacrifices were not in vain. They were investments. Every late night, every agonizing choice, and every sacrifice for a larger goal seemed like a loss. As if you were spilling out without ever being refilled. As if you were giving everything and receiving nothing in return. However, what seemed to be a sacrifice was in fact an investment. And now the harvest is late. Sacrifice always appears like a loss in the moment. This is why so many people shun it. They cling to comfort and refuse to let go of what they have. Anything that makes you feel confident. Because of this, they never grow. But you saw something most others don't. Sacrifice is not equal to subtraction. It's a multiplication waiting to happen. The difficulty is that most individuals quit before the return arrives. They give up because the procedure is too lengthy, uncomfortable, and unpredictable. But you didn't. You continued planting, pouring, and giving even when there was no immediate return. That's why what's coming is more than simply a blessing. It's a reaping of your efforts. Someone important has been keeping an eye on not just your faith, but also your constancy. They saw your generosity when you had nothing left. They saw you choose purpose above convenience. They noticed how hard you worked while no one was looking. They now perceive something much grander. Someone who was prepared. This isn't just about the prize. It's about getting assurance that your sacrifices were worthwhile. That every moment of grief was preparing you for something greater. That every time you chose faith over comfort, you were contributing to something far bigger than you could perceive at the moment. And now the doors ready to open are more than simply a gift. They are the payoff for all you thought you'd lost. Because in God's kingdom, sacrifice never means losing. It's about planting something that will grow bigger than you ever anticipated. Number 8, you were more than simply patient. You have conquered the waiting season. Waiting is one of the most difficult things to accomplish. It puts your trust, fortitude, and capacity to persevere under strain when nothing seems to be occurring. Most individuals struggle with it. They either get agitated and rush things, or they sit lazily waiting for something to happen while doing nothing to prepare for it. But you didn't just wait. You have conquered the waiting season. You recognized that waiting didn't mean doing nothing. It was about doing the right thing. It was about honing your abilities, expanding your knowledge, and preparing for the time when your chance will arise. Others complained about delays. You utilized them to better yourself, whilst others regarded waiting as a halt. You saw it as a process. That is why your award will not arrive immediately. It comes with multiplied influence and favor. Do not simply fall on the unprepared. They seek for people who have shown their ability to carry the weight of duty. Someone in power has been keeping an eye on things, and what they've discovered is more than simply patience. It was about discipline. It was the capacity to maintain consistency, faithfulness, and perseverance even when there were no evidence of improvement. That level of preparation is what distinguishes individuals. Now the wait is over. The doors are opening not merely because the timing is good, but because you are correct. You did not just go through the procedure. You allowed the process to mold you. When Favre arrives, you won't be caught off surprise. It will find you ready, positioned, and well prepared to deal with whatever happens next. Number 9, you didn't choose the easy way, which is why you were picked. Most individuals choose the easier route. It's spacious, pleasant, and full of quick pleasure. It needs minimal commitment and yields speedy results. However, the easy way leads to mediocrity. It generates individuals who blend in, who follow trends rather than creating them, and who never reach their full potential. You did not settle for that. You selected the route that required more of you, the one that was more difficult, lonely, and full of problems. You may have made a compromise. You may have used shortcuts. You could have followed what everyone else was doing, but you didn't, and that is why you have been picked. People with genuine power do not search for people who fit in. They search for those that stand out. They are looking for those who had every reason to resign yet chose not to. They search for those who built their reputation in the shadows, who remained faithful to their beliefs even when no one was looking. And that is just what you did. The degree of influence and favor coming your way is not at random. It's a reaction to the decisions you took when no one was cheering for you. It's a prize for going down a route that most people are hesitant to go. Because of this, you will not just get a blessing. You will be a gift. Your path will encourage others to choose faith over comfort, purpose over popularity, and legacy over convenience. You're finally doing what you've always wanted to do. The path you chose was tough, but it wasn't futile. Every sacrifice, difficulty, and step of faith had prepared you for this moment. You were not picked at random. You were picked because you demonstrated that you could manage it. Number 10, your trust was more than just words. It was a strategy. Anyone may claim to have faith. When things are going well, it is simple to discuss belief. But religion is not about words. It is about movement. It's about how you behave, how you make choices, and how you persevere when everything in your life tells you to give up. And it is where you stood out. Your religion was more than simply words. It was something you lived. You did not wait for ideal circumstances before taking action. You did not wait for evidence to believe. You created even though there was no cause to. You moved when there was no indication of progress. You behaved as if the promise had already been fulfilled, even though you had nothing except faith to rely on. That is not naive optimism, but rather a plan. Faith is more than simply belief. It is a system. It is the capacity to look beyond what is in front of you and prepare yourself for what is to come. It is making judgments that seem nonsensical to everyone else, but are guided by something greater than rationality. That's what distinguishes ordinary individuals from those who develop X and produce ordinary outcomes. And now someone important has spotted it in you. They can tell that you weren't simply hoping for success. You were planning for it. You weren't just hoping for doors to open. You were preparing yourself to go through them. That level of trust is unusual. It's quite strong, and it draws the kind of favor that most people will never have. This is not just a prize for believing. It's assurance that your method was effective and that your trust was not in vain. That every step you took, even if it didn't make sense, was taking you precisely where you needed to be. And now you will be able to see for yourself what you used to believe in. Number 11. Influence seeks those who can manage it. Influence is a duty, not a privilege. That is why it does not fall into the hands of anybody. It seeks for individuals who have shown the ability to bear it without being destroyed. That is why you are receiving it right now. Someone prominent has been attracted to you for a purpose. It's not luck. It's because they see something in you that most people can't handle. Influence is significant. It takes insight, courage, and the capacity to make choices that impact not just yourself but people around you. And you've shown that you're prepared via your perseverance, decisions, and steadfast faith. People often say they desire influence, but most don't know what to do with it if they had it. They seek the attention, opportunity, and prizes, but they lack the character to maintain it. That is why unprepared people are avoided by those in positions of authority. It doesn't just land any place. It seeks for those capable of carrying it with honesty. You have been challenged in ways that most people would never comprehend. You've gone through seasons when no one noticed, no one clapped, and you had every reason to walk away. But you didn't. That's what makes you unique. That's what gets you ready. Influence is now finding you, not because you sought it, but because you evolved into the kind of person that seeks out important people and recognizes what you've created, what you've overcome, and what you're capable of. And now they're coming in not to give you a respite, but to reinforce what you already know. You do not need to struggle for this. You don't need to prove yourself anymore. You've already shown yourself. Thus the doors are opening. Influences have discovered you, and now it's time to walk in them. Number 12. You generate your own profit before anybody confirms it. Nobody believed in you. At first, they did not notice what you'd done. They didn't grasp the fire that was raging within you. But it did not deter you. Before anybody spoke life into you, you accomplished it for yourself. Before anyone recognized your brilliance, you announced it in quiet. You were your own prophet, even before anybody else verified it. That is what distinguishes those who succeed from those who fail. Self-belief. Before making a move, most individuals seek external affirmation. They are waiting for approval, acclaim, and someone to tell them they have what it takes. But you did not wait. You talked your future into existence when there was no evidence to support it. You walked in faith despite everything around you screaming failure. You created when there was no guarantee it would function. That level of self-confidence is unusual. It is risky. It disturbs the status quo. And now the world is catching up with what you already knew. Someone prominent has taken notice. Not because you suddenly become great, but because your brilliance is now indisputable. They see the effects of what you predicted for yourself years ago. They witness the expression of what you are unwilling to let die. Most individuals believe that success comes when others eventually notice them. But this is the reality. It occurs when you recognize yourself first. When you quit waiting for someone to validate your calling and begin walking in it nonetheless. That is what distinguishes you from the others. Now it's time for validation, the accolades and opportunity. The doors you formerly had to battle to open are now swinging wide. Not because you suddenly became worthy, but because you had always been. And now the world is finally catching up to what you've known all along. Number 13. Your background should have disqualified you, yet it became your resume. By all rational criteria, you should not be here. Your history should have ruled you out. Struggles, failures, and losses. Most individuals would have allowed such things destroy them. But you converted them into your credentials. The world tells you that having a pristine past makes you worthy. That the correct background, relationships, and track record were what led to opportunities. However, genuine power does not come from a perfect past. It stems from conquering what might have destroyed you. And that is just what you did. Someone important has been watching, and they do not regard your background as a drawback. They see it as evidence, proof that you do not give up, proof that you understand how to rebuild, proof of your ability to bear pressure. They are not searching for someone who has never failed. They're seeking for someone who can ascend. That is why this moment is occurring. Not in spite of your background, but because of it. Every setback, every rejection, every time when you wondered whether you were really intended for this, was working in your favor. It was about telling a tale so compelling that when the appropriate person saw it, they knew you were the one they needed. You're now stepping into rooms you never imagined you'd be in. Not because you chose the easy route, but because you demonstrated you could survive the difficult one. Your history did not disqualify you. It prepared you. And suddenly the same traits that should have excluded you are the reasons you've been selected. Number 14. This is not a prize. It's a promotion to your next task. Most individuals believe that the recognition, opportunity, and breakthrough represent the end of their journey. But you know better. This is not only a reward. It is a signal, a heavenly affirmation that you are embarking on something far better. Faithfulness always leads to advancement, not only in terms of prestige or influence, but also in terms of responsibilities. Every fight you fought, every hardship you faced, and every test you passed. It wasn't only to get you here. It was to prepare you for what comes next. Someone prominent recognized you not just because you deserve a blessing, but also because they saw your potential for more. They perceive someone who can be trusted with more power, more platforms, and higher stakes. And make no mistake, this is not about comfort. It's about the task. This next season is about more than simply receiving. It is all about leadership, about entering a realm where you're not only receiving favors, but also distributing them, where you're not just breaking through for yourself, but also paving the way for others. That's why you had to endure so much. That's why the process was so intense. This isn't just about height, but also about effect. The doors that are now opening do not mark the conclusion of the voyage. They are the start of something far grander. And you're ready, because this was more than simply you gaining a place at the table. It was about you being ready to reach your own decision. It was never about luck. It was all about alignment. Everything that is going on right now is not random. It's not chance, coincidence, or a stroke of good fortune. It's an alignment. Faith, meeting, preparation, obedience, meeting, opportunity, and resilience combined to produce this outcome. Meeting recognition. You were not only picked, you have been proved for too long. You followed a route that seemed unseen. You fought wars in quiet, suffered seasons when nothing appeared to change, and persevered when most others would have given up. But heaven was watching, and influence was waiting. And now, everything you held in the dark is being exposed in the light. Someone prominent took note. But the reality is, you were never forgotten. Every moment of trust, every act of obedience, every choice to persevere when giving up seemed simpler. It all summed up, and now you're about to embark on something far bigger than you could have dreamed. Not because you pursued it, but because you were it. This is not the finish line. This is the launch pad. What is ahead is larger, deeper, and takes even more of you. But you're ready because this adventure did more than simply prepare you. It altered you. Now the question is not why you were picked. The real issue is, what will you do if this message resonates with you? If it verified something you already knew deep down, don't keep it to yourself. I like this video. Leave a comment below and let me know which aspect resonated with you the most. And if you know anybody who should hear this, share it with them. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and enable alerts since the adventure isn't done. There is more to come, more insight, confirmation, and tremendous truths that will propel you to the next level. You don't want to miss what happens next. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button so you make sure to never miss my daily message videos. If you're enjoying the content on Pure Wisdom and find value in the messages we share, I encourage you to subscribe. Based on the latest analytics, 93.9% of viewers are watching without subscribing. By subscribing, you not only stay updated with new content, but also support the channel's growth, allowing us to continue spreading wisdom for the chosen ones. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an important message. Let's build this community together.